my days as a youth were very eventful, and there were pitfalls, and there were also at a point I got something happened that actually literally turned my life around, and I think that's what I want to focus on. All right, I started off in secondary school as someone who was not really focused on his academics. I was always, gallivanting here and there, playing football and other sports, and not concentrating on my academics. It's good to do sports, but your academics will give you leverage. So you need to be focused at the same time on your academics. Well, I was not. So eventually, when I sat for West African School Start Certificate, I felt woeful because I was not focused. I had 8 F9's and 1 pass. It was funny. And so for years I was trying to recover from that, writing GC, going for remedial courses to see how I could bounce back. But the main thing that turned my life around, first I gave my life to Christ, and at a point I would say the Lord worked it out, because God wanted to use this event I'm about to share, to turn my life around, especially in the area of my academics. After 2 years that I finished secondary school, I and my friend, who was my friend in secondary school, both of us were not serious then, we were coming, and we got to a junction, and we met about 8 of our friends. And so we're all 10 at that point. And we greeted each other, we had graduated for the past 2 years from secondary school. And then everybody was asking everybody, oh, where are you? What are you doing now? So they asked, this one said, I'm in University of Lagos. The other guy said, I'm in University of Ibadan. Like that. People were there. This one said, I'm in Polytechnic, I'm studying mechanical. This one is studying electrical, like that. And when it got to my turn, and that of my friend, who both of us were like, we couldn't see anything. And we felt so embarrassed that while all of our friends were, talking about their successes and their progress, especially in the academics, we had nothing to say. May you not find yourself in that situation. I felt like the ground should open and I should go. That moment, I decided that Agboola, I'm going to the university. That I will make sure I get university education. So at that moment, I decided that I would do anything and everything possible, everything and anything good to ensure that I acquire university education. So I left there to add insult upon injury. My aunt came from the village, came to our street, and right in the middle of the street, she was shouting. Even before she got to my house, she didn't even enter where I was living. She stood outside and she was just declaring that, oh, this boy in the family, you are the worst. All other children have become great, but you, she was talking to me on the street, that you are the worst. And if it would have been better that you are not part of this family. Because this one has been to university, that one is in the university, this one has progressed and all of that. And when I had that, I decided and determined the more. In fact, that was what I needed to get committed to my academics. That got into me so much that I decided that I would get university education. And that was it. That was how I started. I went back to secondary school and I took the same exam again. This time, that same year, I succeeded, passed. I got 9A1 and I got admitted into Obafemi Awolowo University to study mechanical engineering. I attempted JAMB once. So you see, people fail in life not because they don't have capacity. They fail in life because they are not committed. The moment you are committed to a cause and you pray about it and you are determined, you are on your path to greatness. That's my experience as a young person growing up. I got into university, Obafemi Awolowo University, to study mechanical engineering, and that was it.
When I was in class 3, promoted to class 4, a sister of mine came actually to pick me up from Ijebu, our own place, to our place in Lagos. She was really married and she needed someone to be with her, living with her. But there was so much resistance from my aunties, uncles back then. And she said, no, nothing was going to go wrong. But guess what? My sister brought me to Lagos. And I do all the chores in the house. I will do school run before I now go to my own school at Ikeja GRA. So I always get to school either 9:30, 10. They always, catching me as late comer and beat me. Then my grade was degrading, like seriously. So it was one day they now came to pick me. My class teacher came to pick me. He said, follow me to the staff room. You know how those on my mama so everybody started throwing questions. Where do you stay? Who are you living with? What do you do before you come to school? They always catching you as late comer. Where do you normally go that you come late to school? And I started narrating or telling my story. Then I said, no wonder. Can you come to call the long story short? The result I had was so poor. I had 4 passes and 4 credits when they promoted me to final class 5 then. So my sister now, when I took the result home, she started abusing me. She said, then look at the result you brought. They promoted you on this kind of results. By the time you write WAEC, what will you get? You know what I did? I just went to my friend's uncle. That, please sir, let me write the letter that I want to repeat. So I can go and give it to my auntie. I just voluntarily decide to repeat that without abuses at home. I said, me, I won't go for that. So the man now said, but they promoted you. Your results were, I said, I know. I said, but they abused me. I told that if I'm promoted on 4 credits and 4 passes and 1 F9, what result will I bring out when I do WAEC? He now said, I hope it will not be a problem in the future because they promoted you. If I help you write a letter of the pit now, you should go and do WAEC. I said, no, sir, just help me. And the man assisted me. That was how I voluntarily went to the pit. And that was one of the best decisions I took in my life because when I repeated, I decided to repeat and went back to class 4. Everybody was calling me, Yinka, you are supposed to be in class 5. Hey, now, Kineko, what are you doing? You will be coming to class 4 to come and come. I said, no, I'm repeating the class. So, and when I decided to repeat on my voluntary, it was like God restored me. I was speaking as a stand girl. I did very well. My result was just very good. And when I wrote my WAEC, I had the best results. So what I want to bring out of that is that as youth need to be like when they say someone failure is not final. It's not how do I put it now? It's not a destination. It's a process. As in, the most important that fail forward. When you fail, don't be like, oh, either some people say they fail, they want to go and commit suicide, or they fail, they are depressed. No, if you know, just be be frank with yourself that, oh, when you fail, is an opportunity for you to repeat and start all over again and do well. So you must have the right mindset and mentality about failure.
Yeah.
You may not even like fail, but you see that, oh, this thing, oh, this is not good enough. You should be quick to retract and say, oh, let me start all over again and start well. So we need the right mentality about failure. As a young lady then grew up in a Muslim background, the best turnaround of my life was when I gave my life to Christ on campus. When I gave my life to Christ, the response, it wasn't a palatable experience. My background, my sister that was saying that we said you should go and study. You want to go and join SU, became born again. That don't you know where I want born again, Shokoto and Kimberley. You know, there are some terrible things I was told. It was like there's no chance for you with that decision you went to make. Whenever I'm going back to school on campus, I would just be crying. I would just like be crying and crying in the fellowship. I'll go to the elders and the executive in the fellowship and say, this and this and this and this are what I was told I want. And those ones, they will laugh. The ESCO, the executive, the president, Pastor Deji, will laugh. Professor Fatokun, the professor now at UI, he would like to say, I know what God is saying about you tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be beautiful. And we'll read the pages of the scriptures together. Say, relax, wait. Tomorrow is just going to be very beautiful. What am I trying to say? When I gave my life to Christ, since that time my life took a U-turn. I became an entirely new person. And the scriptures, as I read the scriptures, God makes himself very real to me. And it's part of why I'm still among the youth. I fall in love with the youth church today because of that impact I can never forget. That was where my life was most impacted. So when I discovered Potter's Court, I'm like, the first thing that came to my brain is WAEC campus, tax one. And I told my husband, I said, I found a church where we go. I found a new church that even all that be, it's just like tax one in OAU. It just gave me that refreshing memory of, my younger time when I was a youth, newly born again on campus and in campus fellowship. So in essence, it has been very, very interesting, a journey for me in Christ. And like the scripture says, in Christ alone, everything about our life, about my own life, the couple when I got married to my husband, and the journey take off from that time to today, it has been Christ and Christ alone.
But God spoke to me 9 times about her. And 9 times because I wasn't accepting. It was not exactly my focus. She wasn't really my focus.